and we're live.
So, hello all. Thanks for joining and welcome to the Nunet platform private alpha launch party. How many people do we have? Let me check. So thanks a lot for your questions. And right, I'm hugely excited about what our private alpha launch did to the activity in the community and in our Telegram channel and basically other channels. It's really rewarding to see people trying out the technology and hacking it and providing us with ideas and basically doing things which we will never be able to do alone. And that is the main reason why we launched the private alpha as soon as we have something to show to the community. And so as soon as we have the technology that you can join and start hacking it and start using it, we want to immediately enable it, make it public, so that we can build everything together. And it works perfectly until now, and I hope that we will continue like this. So just as we already announced the private alpha in our Telegram channels and in our Medium, as you probably all have seen, maybe I will repeat. So for those who didn't let's say read about the private alpha launch, we announced it 2 days ago on the Medium via all our channels. We started with a showcase application, which is a fake news warning application, which runs on the private alpha. And then we introduced private alpha itself, which is a backbone that will run any applications that you or somebody else will onboard currently through SingularityNET. So I will not repeat. However, I think that most of you probably looked at it, because I'm just looking at the activity in our channels. So the goal of today is to, and this is why we announced first on the blog post and on our channels the private alpha, and gave the to use the well, not exactly readmes, but basically explain how it works, and gave all the access, open the access, so that you could look at it, start to playing with it, start to hack, get some questions, get some maybe problems, write a bug request, crash it, maybe recover it, so that we could go into deep dive and explain the fun of working with this. So once again, thanks for the questions. We will go together through those questions. First of all, the ones that you submitted via the form. Also, I will try, as last time, as always, to look at your comments on the YouTube chat and try to answer that immediately. So if I'm answering somebody's question who is on here, please put things on the chat so that I will see. And yes, welcome Brazil. Right. So let's go into the questions immediately, and then I think it's really excellent questions. I'm just happy to answer them, and I think there's not a lot of introduction is needed. The introduction will be done during the questions. So how can I have a Nunet node? Will the remuneration be based on hardware? Isaac Yusip. So thanks for the question. It's a very basic and basic question from where we start. Right. The how do we get a Nunet node? We published. Right now we are running a testing network. Therefore, we expect and we would like people who join it to have certain technical knowledge, because what we're looking for now, we are building a testing network to test the Nunet platform, and that test network will gradually grow into a network where people without a technical knowledge can join. However, what we're doing now, so we are launching now we launched now the private alpha, and in a few months it will grow into the public alpha. We want to always have the testing network so that we can test things before they go public, as usual done in the software development. However, we are a little bit brave enough, so to speak, to not to control anything from the very start. So since Nunet is a decentralized hardware, as SingularityNET is a decentralized software ecosystem, even when we do not have a perfect technology, and nobody has a perfect technology, we already expose it to the real world complexities, because that is the philosophy behind, or the, let's say, conceptual strategy behind the development, that we develop in the real world without sort of putting ourselves in some sort of cage where we have safe environment, and by that we become better. So please test us and please crash us, and then well, you will have to provide the bug reports in order for us to bring the system up. That's how it becomes better and more resilient. So how can we, back to the question. Right now we provide a Linux script, because we allow Linux-based machines, as most of you probably know, to join the network. We provide a Linux script to run it. As I've seen on the chats that you have already started to try other machines, maybe virtual VMs on Windows. I'm not sure that works yet. We also started to try out to onboard Raspberry Pis. So with your help, I think we can do it quite quickly. Right now, in order to run a node, you have to run a script and join the network. Will the remuneration will be based on the hardware? It will be based on the computing workflow that you will do on that hardware. So basically, Nunet doesn't care what hardware you run. What it does care is about the speed, the connectivity, the amount of RAM, the amount of CPU power, and the quality of computing. Quality meaning that the node is powered, the node has capacity to run workflows, and it returns results. So this is what the remuneration will be based at the most granular level. However, we will be able to, Nunet as a technology will be able to adjust the payment schemes, remuneration schemes, not payment actually, or token distribution schemes, depending on what are the demands. What are the demands? Because what we are doing, we are connecting application developers, AI developers, and hardware providers into one framework. In a sense, we are sort of providing this middle ground. However, Nunet as a platform doesn't decide what is the best way for things to run. So how the compensation will be done depends mostly on the community, which is you. What is the preferred way? So we will be able to do the value flows based on actual and precise telemetry of each computing process. And of course, anything that goes that is less granular than that. So again, if you have any follow-up questions, please do. Hi, Mac. Good to see you again. Will the Nunet public alpha be able to work for someone running on a Linux virtual machine for Windows on a PC, or will it only work if Linux is the only operating system on your computer? Yeah, that's your question. So, I mean, in the beginning, I will start with this. That one thing is what private alpha does now, which you can basically try, test, and see, and report to us too, or well, yes, to file questions and maybe feature requests. And other things, what we want it to be able to do, and that we will build gradually depending on the preferences of the community and the use cases that we get. So right now, anybody has tried to run Nunet platform on the virtual machine, please write a comment. I didn't check. I think for a few hours I didn't check our Dev Exchange or Telegram channel, so I'm not sure what is the actual situation. But basically, we want to make it run. Now, if it doesn't run, this means that we will take into account your tests and your reports, and we will try it ourselves, and then we will see how can we make it work. However, in the future, we do not constrain ourselves with Linux-based machines. In principle, we will onboard Windows. We will allow Windows to run natively without the virtual machine. So the virtual machine is a nice hack, which could work even now, but depending on the community preferences or people who are providing or who would like to provide the computing devices to Nunet, what kind of process they want to run, we will prioritize the scripts and the framework for Nunet to run on those operating systems. In principle, nothing prevents to do that, only the prioritization and the fact that nothing can be done immediately. Yes, so hope that answers the question. Well, is it even possible to run Nunet on a phone without rooting it? Good question. We'll get to phones. Phones are slightly, well, that's a question from the YouTube chat. Phones are slightly more complex use case. We hope that we will be able to do that because strictly speaking, we are running containers, and the technology that we chose for the container orchestration for the private alpha, it doesn't mean that it will stay forever, allows us to run say, different containers, not just Docker containers that we're running now. So, for example, Java containers and other containers. So basically, we will attempt to do the Nunet onboarding without the routing. However, most probably for the testing network that we have now, you will have to root it. I mean, the developers will have to root it in order to test things out. In the future, would like to do it without the routing. Well, that was kind of interesting question for me, therefore I just jumped on it. It's a very exciting thing to see, and well, will be very exciting to do that and to see how how Nunet exactly will work on mobile phones. Since Nunet is blockchain agnostic, how will it allocate cryptocurrency to compute data providers in a decentralized manner? Will cryptocurrency be transferred on Nunet at all, or will it be done off the network somehow using smart contracts like on Ethereum, for example? So the computing processes that are running on Nunet, according to this according to the the terms that we use, it's off-chain, because we are running right now. We're running Docker containers, or in other sense, Docker containers which are constructed according to the SingularityNET AI service specifications. So it is running off-chain. No blockchain runs Docker containers, and there is no point to run actual compute processes on-chain. So Nunet uses blockchains in order to settle transactions between the compute processes which are running off-chain on the distributed hardware. And to do that, we have what we call tokenomics API, which is one of the API within the API of APIs, which essentially Nunet is. And through that API, we provide ability to connect to the blockchain, to any blockchain. It's a wrapper to the blockchains that we integrate. So right now we are running on the Ethereum testnet based on Solidity. Soon enough, we'll onboard Cardano, and then we could onboard, meaning we'll connect to the Cardano, and then we will see whether there is a point from the what kind of workflows we run, whether there is a point and the demand to connect to build this wrapper for other blockchains. So how does that work? Well, basically, when a machine that is onboarded on Nunet does a computational work, let's say for the showcase application, fake news warning application, when it runs one of the containers, the Nunet calculates precise amount of compute power that is done on that machine, and then it sends it. It saves it into the blockchain, whatever blockchain is done by the tokenomic. I mean, whatever blockchain is used by the tokenomics API of Nunet, which is actually can be. So what blockchain is used, and which network in that blockchain is used, is selected by a compute provider which onboards the machine, and then Nunet resolves it through the tokenomics API. It saves the telemetry to either to that blockchain if it allows metadata to be saved in the blockchain. So basically, Ethereum allows, for sure. Cardano also allows even more rich metadata, and then Nunet itself doesn't really care which blockchain it uses because it can just pull the metadata out of it and pulls payment information. So in a sense, Nunet will provide an ability to do the cross-chain workflows through this telemetry information that it will do off-chain. Right, I hope well, maybe I'm kind of a little bit diverging from the question, but that's the whole point of this launch party. Not to diverge, but to expand on your questions. So smart contracts will be used or are used in order to make a contract between the machines and between the AI services that combine together in order to respond to a call from a user. So in the short case application, a call from a user is a call when you just click the icon, it sends a call to the backend with a request to detect what is the probability of the fake news and of having fake news in a certain article that is displayed. So then what Nunet does, Nunet builds a smart contract between all the machines that run AI services in order to answer that call, and also AI services that are onboarded on Nunet. It sort of binds everything into one smart contract, builds the escrow account, executes the calls, distributes them to, first of all, distributes them to all the constituents, executes them, gets back the answer, and then distributes the tokens which were agreed in the smart contract. I think obviously we can do that on any blockchain which allows us to build smart contract. The more rich the smart contract language is, the better we can do it. The more fast blockchain is, the faster we can do it. The more abilities, the more blockchain wrappers we build into Tokenomics API, the more choice. The Nunet as a platform will have to optimize everything. The more choice users or all constituents of the platform will have to choose which ones they want to use. Nunet as a platform will, as much as possible, try not to influence that. So it's basically, it's not our decision, it's a decision of the users. How it should be used and how it's best, what is the best way to use. And this is one of the, well, the reason to be blockchain agnostic. Of course, we have our understanding of what could be better. And therefore, we have certain priorities, which blockchains were bought first, also depending on what the broader partnerships that we have through the SingularityNET ecosystem. However, this is, as I said, something that will grow organically depending on the preferences of the community and the growing ecosystem. Is there a border, Fibo? Well, I will try. So I see that there is a question, not even a question, it's a comment on the YouTube chat that is this MAA is too technical. Anything for Moon Boys? Well, I hope that I will, through the technical questions, I will go to the non-technical questions. So, but we got quite a few technical questions now, and since we got them, I would like to respond to these ones, especially since as I said, the private alpha launch is directed to start building the developer community, which we want to be reasonably technical in order to test the network and to help us to build it. We want I mean, we want you to be part of it from the beginning. The early birds will have to be technical enough to be early birds. However, the goal, I mean, well, we cannot say the final goal, but we are developing towards general, let's say, community, which may be less technical, because otherwise right, this is a goal, to provide the compute resources for less technical, or maybe technical in other ways, community members. So it's very good that we have non-technical or less technical members who will sort of ask, who will push us to make things simpler. Anyway, we shouldn't be programmers in order to use infrastructure. So please, let's say, please participate, and do not hesitate to jump in and ask non-technical questions. So there is no need to be intimidated by supposedly smart technical talk, and to think that non-technical questions are, stupid. Usually they are the other way around. And we have to start thinking about that again from the very beginning. So, is there any border and prohibition against immoral, unethical CPU dominance that might manipulate the fair playing field of CPU processing markets? If children enhance the wheels made electricity to run CPU power, that was solved, would be there to ban. So I will make this question more general, in a sense that, once again, so Nunet provides API to exchange information between the sides of the constituents of multi-sided markets. So those constituents are compute providers, which provide compute for the application developers and essentially users. But so what Nunet gives, it gives an ability for application developers to develop an application where anybody who uses browser extension or whatever application you imagine could specify that they do not want for the backend of this application to run on certain machines, which, let's say, are powered by coal. Or maybe they can indicate a preference that they want to run those applications that they use on the machines that are running green energy, depending. So this is what Nunet will provide. Now, whether community will choose to do that, hopefully so. But Nunet as a platform will not put hard constraints, except for the illegal activity. But the philosophy behind is that we want the sides of the multi-sided platform and community in short to choose what they want to do, and basically also to allow the variety of choices depending on the preferences of different community members. So strictly speaking, we provide ability to choose not to use certain compute devices or not to run certain compute workflows, depending on the preferences of each and every constituent of the network individually, without the need to agree or to sort of force anything from the platform side. Yes, so that would be a short answer. And this can go very broad and deep. It doesn't. We are not constrained with let's say what kind of electricity it uses. Basically we can imagine as rich preferences as possible, as rich preferences humans and non-humans can have. Nunet will provide an ability to exchange them, to find compute providers or compute processes and application developers to find match in the compute providers. And hopefully this will actually bring the incentives for people to use compute power, which is powered by the green energy. It's not that we do not have preferences for that, and we do not think about this. We just, as a platform, we will not enforce it, but we may incentivize it. However, everything is right in the hands of the collective intelligence of the community. Is there most optimized links? Okay, these are sort of, I will answer it very shortly. Is there optimized distribution that we should use for Nunet public alpha? Basically, we are now running on Debian-based Linux. However, I saw that people are running other stuff, and you are most welcome to try this out and to see whether it works or not, and we will adapt it. And we are welcome to your pull requests if you happen to adapt it. I mean, you just find a way to run other distributions. Right now, I think we are running mostly on Ubuntu and Debian based. However, Raspbian is coming. And then after that, all the others like macOS as being Linux natively, it's actually Unix more. But as I said in the beginning, we are aiming to onboard all the operating systems. So of course, macOS is kind of closer to Linux because it's Unix. So it may come first, but I mean, one thing is how easy it is to onboard depending on what we have from private alpha, but another aspect is what is exactly needed by the community. So please give your ideas, vote. We'll always ask what are the preferences before starting, or at least during the development, and we'll weight the technical capabilities and the demands. So right now we are running on the private Ethereum blockchain, which we're running on our server, in order to test the smart contracts and all the tokenomics API. So the tokens that are minted and the prices that are given on the window into the platform, they are running in the private network, so to speak. So in order to test the functionality, however, this functionality, at least what it is tested now, the private testnet is exactly the version of Ethereum that runs on the mainnet. So it's just a matter of decision to build it, to port it to the mainnet. What are the main differences? Well, so there is a question, two level question. Goose of crypto. What are the main technical differences between Nunet and Telcoin? So to say shortly, Nunet and Telcoin are completely different frameworks, in the sense that Telcoin works on the mobile phones, but it's directed to payments. Nunet is not directed to payments. Nunet does computing workflows or computations on the decentralized hardware. Crypto payments and token exchanges are just there in order to facilitate the infrastructure on a decentralized hardware. It's not the goal of Nunet. However, it's an important aspect of the economy of decentralized computing, because in the economy you need to have a payment between the chains of the supply chain, let's say. And Telcoin is mobile payments. However, there is a second part of this question, which is, I would like to go deeper. Does the commercial targeting affect the performance of Nunet's success over other similar projects? For example, will Nunet target the continent of Africa alongside Cardano? So yes, it will target the continent of Africa alongside Cardano. And if you look at the, well, strategically, we are onboarding, we're allowing for people with private machines to contribute to this decentralized, let's say, cloud. Let's call it cloud of computing. And that provides people with more or less powerful machines to join it and to be compensated. So the cheaper devices we have on the network, the more availability of people, and then let's say the certain incentives that people would like to receive for onboarding the machines on the network, we can provide. Basically, the more decentralized the network will become, and we are looking to places in terms of what kind of workflows Nunet can run. It can run workflows and access places which are not accessed by the conventional, well, compute providers or business processes, to speak, or in a crypto space, in the open finance space, in let's say mobile networks space. We do not, right? So I believe that the very ability of Nunet to connect those devices in a very rural and maybe, well, rural, not rural, we will need internet. So, but in places which are not accessed by the big players, that is the opportunity of Nunet, and that is the opportunity of the community. And this is how we want the community to build the decentralized computing infrastructure of the world, and to include the places of the world and community members which may be less included now, according to the current computing infrastructure of the world. So this is an opportunity, and this is what we are looking forward to tap into. I see that Mark answers the questions on the YouTube channel, so thanks for that. Will there be a standalone apps for Windows, Android, OS X, iOS, and what that will allow participants to sell access to computational storage resources on the end devices? If you have seen the video, where pretty long video, I think it's almost an hour, it was a deep dive into Nunet technology. If you haven't seen, I would, well, and if you would like, I would suggest to find it out in our, I think it is in, of course, it's posted on Telegram channel and all our other channels, Medium. to have a look at that, but the answer to that question is that yes, we will. So right now we started with a Linux script, which is not what we are going to keep. I mean, as soon as we will get our hands on this side, we will develop the script into the client application, so that people can download client application for any operating system and to see all the machines that they onboarded, because it's not given that one person will have one machine to onboard on the Nunet. It can be a fleet of small or bigger machines. Everybody of us now have more than one. We have laptops, we have maybe tablets, we have phones. So at least 2 machines everybody has, and we will be able to put all those machines on Nunet with different capacities and different preferences how they can be used. So we will provide the application in order to manage that, to see the token distributions based on that, to see what kind of workflows they run, and to see how they are busy or not busy. So yes, the answer is yes to Joshua. Now there is a I'm usually excited to answer technical questions. So, and I'm very happy that these questions come from the community. And I'm now, when we were launching private alpha, we were not sure how you will respond and how you will jump in, and now, and how we'll be able to proceed with this strategy of putting it out and developing together with the real use cases and the real demands of the community. And now I'm very sure that this is the right way to go, and I'm sure that we will be successful there. So 1 gigabit internet speeds. Well, that's a very nice internet, I have to sort of admit. And the question is, do I need to upgrade to 2 gigabits? No, I don't think so. I mean, it's pretty good for now. But however, as we all know, the fastest internet, the better. So basically, well, in terms of decentralized hardware and running decentralized software, the faster the speed between parts of the computing processes, the better ability for the theoretical optimization of the whole process. So, however, we're not at the level now with the private alpha to leverage this kind of speeds. And if we are thinking of, let's say, there was just a question about Africa. It doesn't mean that Africa doesn't have places with a good internet, but let's say if there is a place with a less good internet, then we will see what kind of workflows we can run in an optimized way without connections which are, let's say, of too high quality. Let's think about the future. I was always waiting for this things that the global internet, which is provided by the low orbit satellites, which is coming to the reality, and that together with 5G in the places where it's accessible, will make this infrastructure, decentralized infrastructure, computing infrastructure, closer and closer and closer to the centralized compute centers, and will allow us to run much more optimized workflows. Memory. Any benefit to Nunet to have computers with large amounts of memory? Yes. This one is a very simple question. The RAM is, for now, the RAM is the single most important part of what's needed on the Nunet. However, it's not, as we all know, that's not the end of the story. CPU and the disk will be important too. Does Nunet take advantage of multiple cores of single machine? Of course. So it looks like in order to participate in the private alpha, we need to know how to code. Not really. At least we need to know for now how to run Linux script, which is right. We need to know this. Is it always going to be like this, or will it eventually have an easier user interface so compute providers can just download and start letting Nunet use their computer? Will it be easier in the public alpha, or will it be more user-friendly until much later? So, as I said, the private alpha is directed to the developers. The public alpha maybe will be slightly more user-friendly for non-developers. However, we are not going to lose the angle where we'll need developers, because we will always, whether it will be public alpha, whether it will be beta, whether it will be complete production network, we will run the let's say, not necessarily parallel, but we will run certain flavors of the platform, which will allow the developers in the community to access all the nitty-gritty details and all the protocol exchanges of information on the protocol level for the developers, and that will always be possible. So what we will provide, that we will provide the ability for non-developers to use the platform. However, we will want also for the developers and for the technical minds to continue contributing to the evolution of the platform. And I hope, and as I said, I also not only hope, but I believe that this will be more and more involved technically. The sort of the principle is that we are providing ability for the community developers to access pretty much the same information as we as co-developers can access through the platform. And right now we already in this showcase application, which is not only showcases the fake news warning detection, fake news warning functionality, but most of all, it showcases how people from the application layer can access information of the platform, all the calls, all the responses, and all the debugging information. So that will always be on, and we will look forward to developers to join and use it. Okay. How soon will the DApp extend to Cardano? As soon as, DApp. The DApp will not extend to Cardano. The Nunet will extend to Cardano. I mean, the DApp usually is considered something that it runs on Cardano. If the DApp is the browser extension, the browser extension is the browser extension. So it's not really running on Cardano, it runs on the browser. However, we will extend the Nunet platform to Cardano as soon as Cardano launches Alonso, which will happen in 2 days. And as soon as we figure out how to port smart contracts from the Solidity to Plutus, which we will start doing right away. So that is the Plutus. The whole DApp being translated to Haskell or Plutus. So as I said, so the whole DApp is not going to be translated to Haskell or Plutus, but we will see. Well, actually, this is something that I could ask the community developers, because Nunet, we are not application developers. we provided the application to show how the platform works. But I would like to, well, we would like community members to jump in and to start develop applications and AI services which will run on Nunet. And then we will concentrate on the features of the platform, which will be application agnostic, so that we can run pretty much anything on the platform. And that is the goal. So I think you just saw our tech lead, Dagim, just for a second. I don't know whether where he went. So short introduction.
Hi, Kabir.
Hopefully he will come back. Yes, hello, Dagim.
Hi.
So our tech lead, he was working with us since the beginning of Nunet and further, and we were building the whole strategy, well, the whole strategy and design architecture of Nunet, and he's now leading our team of core developers. So would you like to say hi and maybe answer some questions that I didn't I missed something?
Yeah, sure. So far, it's been informative presentation, so I have nothing to add on what has been transpiring so far. But if there are questions that you want to direct on my way, I'd be glad to take them on. You can hear me fine, right?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's go this way. Then I will go further. And if you want to jump, just jump in and say sort of if you want to add something to a question or in general. And then I will. If I miss something, I will just ask you. So and then let's see, what do we have on the. All right. So in theory, Nunet can compute power-rich capabilities to train algorithms. Right. So in theory, could Nunet compute power-rich capabilities to train algorithms comparable to GPT 3 billion parameters? If so, its scalability potentially depends only on the number of small medium computing providers. How can robustness be ensured? Ignatius, this is the same question about the same person that asked the question about Bluetooth. So yes, the GPT-3. Well, so strictly speaking, Nunet provides hardware. When you run software on the hardware, and especially in neural models, there is a certain relation between what kind of software and how there is a relation between how software is written and whether you can parallelize that software and how you can decentralize and how actually decentralization works. So in principle, this is what we are looking for, to train AI models in a decentralized way. However, this will also involve rewriting or adjusting those models so that they can run on the decentralized hardware. In theory and in principle, when we connect a lot of small devices, we should be able to run huge models in parallel. Robustness, well, we will have to build, first of all, certain duplication or maybe overlap of computing processes, and also checking. Now, I cannot really say anything more concrete. Maybe Dagim, you could jump in and say something more concrete. But basically, we are looking for this kind of big models. At certain point, we're looking for Nunet to be able to train those big models. and to train them much cheaper than they are available now on the huge compute farms, which is actually the huge barrier to use those models for people who do not have millions of dollars to train GPT-3. Yes, so Dagi, would you like to take another question? It's line 18. If you see, oh, maybe I can. Do you see the questions?
Yes. Can you go over some features of the web portal? Example jobs, what are allocations? Are allocations assigned automatically? Can I get more allocations if my computer goes offline for a while? Do I have to earn back allocations, etc.? Under clients, driver status, should we have Java and KMU installed as well? I think this question comes from one of our community members from the forum as well, because the last question was actually involved, was actually discussed on the forum. But since currently we're using Nomad as the orchestrator, for like when a new device has been onboarded, we're basically using the Nomad orchestrator to pretend that each onboarded machine is actually a server in a data center where a service would have to be deployed. Like just imagine how microservices are deployed for APIs and in that kind of use case, and you have multiple services that are supposed to be collaborating with each other, like using each other for the like for different data and computational needs. And when, for example, you have a surge in users, like an increase in users, like a sudden increase in users, what you would want to do at that point is get a new hardware and deploy your software on that new hardware and load balance incoming requests to that new hardware so that it's shared with amongst the different hardware. So basically, that's what Nomad is actually designed for. It's an orchestration software. So basically, jobs are the services that you deploy, and the devices that are onboarded to Nunet are the services that they run is the deployment is taken care of by the Nomad orchestrator. So basically, jobs and allocations are specific to the Nomad orchestrator, but a job is a single a single software program that is supposed to be run on maybe on multiple devices in a data center or multiple data centers. So allocations are basically even, for example, if we want 2 or 3 instances of the same job, you might have several allocations for the same job. Basically, for example, let's consider an API that would be running with 3-4 instances, but the requests coming to it would be load balanced, so that from the client side there is only one service that's running. So basically, allocations would be into the same job. So basically, I'm a multiple instances. So can I get more allocations? Well, yeah, like if there are like based on the available computing resources, yes, more allocations are definitely possible to have. If my computer goes offline for a while, do I have to earn back allocations? Actually, when the Nunet device onboarding script is run, it installs Nomad and a system service to it. So when that computer is restarted, then Nomad will be running with the default configurations at boot time. So when that happens, the Nomad client on the client's machine would start communication with a Nomad server. And if there were previous jobs, like previous containers that have been started by the Nomad client, but that had exited because the computer was shut down, they will be restarted and computation would basically continue. As for the should we have Java and KMU installed as well? Well, at the moment, that's not required, but this is also some Nomad specific question, because since Nomad is an orchestrator, it can start any type of container. It could be Docker, it could be Podman, it could be maybe a Kubernetes managed cluster, or it could be a QEMU emulator where you want to run maybe an ARM machine on a x86 or x64 architecture machine. So basically, Nomad uses this QEMU in Java, Docker, Podman, even direct execution like raw exec on the host machine. So at the moment, we're only using Docker, but in the future, it might be required to have Java and QEMU as well.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers the question.
Well, for me, it does. Well, we are not going to run things directly on the machine for sure. That's not what we.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's just a security issue.
Yeah, but basically, Nomad will support it, so it's
yeah. So
yeah, just that there is the option for it. Yeah.
And then again with Nomad, yes. So it's we chose it for the private alpha, mostly for the public alpha. However, what we do, we build the APIs for the communication between the machines, and the engines below can be changed, and this is also important to understand. Right, so I think I will go to the more maybe conceptual questions. So if you see, Dagim, if you see some questions that would be interesting for you to answer, please go on. Now I will, so how will Nunet be a year from now and 3 years from now? That's more broad question that I would like to think about. So a year from now, Nunet will have the full internal tokenomics, where we will be able to, and so internal tokenomics meaning that all the value flows between the machines, between the compute providers, between the the compute workflow providers, will be balanced so that we will be, as Nunet as a platform, together from those constituents, will be able to compete with centralized compute providers in a very concrete economic sense. That there is, I mean, compute has a cost, and we can see it we can see it in the market. And also we will have mining. We will have well, rewards or incentives for through the tokenomics or through the Nunet internal tokenomics to incentivize the supply side of the Nunet platform, depending on which supply side we need to incentivize. And we will have this economy that will self-organize towards the most efficient way to run the network and to provide the ability for this network to compete, let's say, with the centralized providers, and also to fill the niches and to include parts of the world, geographically and otherwise, and community, that are not included into the computational universe of the planet today. And that is so I believe that in 1 year we will have a very clear well, I would say we will not have it done by then, because these are, as probably you can imagine, it's a huge undertaking, and it's not stable because everything moves in the world. So we will have to move too, but we will have a clear basis for doing that. And in 3 years, we'll have it running. So that is that is how I imagine. Have it running, meaning that something that needs the actual large scale computing processes or yes, usages, which are now use centralized compute and also put data into centralized data centers, will be able to use Nunet more efficiently from the economic point, from the traditional economic point, than they can do it now with the centralized providers. So now the question is, how will Nunet be? And I think the correct thing to say is how we want Nunet to be, because how will it be? It depends on us, but also on you. So that is something that we have to develop through our ecosystem and through the collaboration with the community, means with you. And this is why, as I said in the beginning, this is why we are pushing all the technologies that we are building. We are pushing and we are opening it as soon as it is openable, even if it is not yet perfect. Yes. So Dagiam, would you like? So we are already some more or less an hour into the MAA. Dagiam, do you have any questions that you would like to answer from the list?
Yeah. Okay. So there are two questions that are a bit technical and that swim around the same area. So basically, one is, does Nunet use? Sorry, just lost. Okay. See, it's about CPU performance. It has single thread performance. What counts? Can Nunet allocations make use of multiple cores? Well, yes, they do, because basically the applications run as however they want. So, for example, if someone programmed a service that they want to host on the Nunet platform, and if they're using multi-threaded techniques to write that program, then that program is still going to run multi-threaded in the container that's been started on. So it's not going to change how it runs when it has been deployed. The limits that we ask for are for basically assigning which services to run on which devices, and how much bothersome like the service that is being run on a client's computer would be. Basically, it's just to gauge and to limit, like so that, for example, if someone has 8 gigabytes of memory, then we don't want to host an application or a service that needs 16 gigabytes of memory. So basically, that's the limits. But yes, they can use multi-threaded as long as they're programmed to use multiple cores. The other one is allocation status. It says, failed due to progress deadline. What could be causing this? Do I need faster CPU? Also, can you explain canaries, place desired, healthy, unhealthy, on the dashboard? Things. So basically, there are a lot of reasons why it could fail. So when that happens, it will be best to report it on the forum and to tell us which device from the onboarded devices is yours, so that we can investigate the issue. But there are a lot of issues why that could happen, and one of them is network, especially, for example, if you have a very low bandwidth network, then when a job is deployed on your machine, since it's a Docker container, your computer needs to pull the Docker image down from our package registries, our container the image registries. So if you have a very low internet bandwidth and the system is trying to pull Docker images before deploying them, then it's going to fail if it does. So there are multiple issues that could happen, but reporting them on the forum would be best. So it also asks if canaries place desired healthy and unhealthy on the dashboard could be explained. Those are specifically Nomad terms. Those are basically, for example, canary is a deployment term to make sure that failures are handled by releasing them to a small subset of your users. Place desired healthy and unhealthy are basically when you are about to run a job through Nomad, then first it's placed, then it's supposed to be the image supposed to be pulled and uploaded. So it's a desired. Once they've been running and health checks have been passing, then it's healthy. If health checks are passing, then it's unhealthy. So these are Nomad specific terms. Hope that's answered. So Kabir, if you want to continue, or should I continue with the technical?
Okay, thanks. So I would like, so there are a few questions that I would like to probably address. Well, apart from so one thing is all those technical questions are wonderful, and we would really like you to ask them and to maybe answer between each other, which we will actually do. We have support email, which we provided in our channels. We have Dev Exchange, the developers exchange portal on which is addresses devexchange.nunet.io. We have Telegram channel. Telegram channel is probably less less good for development stuff. This is why we launched the development exchange, so that we can exchange those questions and answers, and then they can be left there in order for us to find those answers, so that we don't need to repeat everything. So please use these ones. Please put those questions. We'll try to cover them as much as possible from the core developer side. And as I said, I see very good collaboration already between you. So we just need to put some information that is accessible for us now. But basically, this provides an excellent way for us to build a platform. So please please direct those questions there and keep them coming. So right. So one question that I wanted to address now is, would it be possible? Well, one of the questions: would it be possible to enable Nunet compute providers to donate compute resources to OpenCog/OpenCog development projects? Yes. So as it is now, Nunet is the immediate goal of Nunet as an infrastructure platform is to provide infrastructure for the SingularityNET ecosystem to run the workflows. And part of the SingularityNET ecosystem, which, as we all know, started before SingularityNET, is OpenCog. And now it is coming, the new OpenCog version, which is called Hyperion. And so Nunet will run workflows of the Hyperion 2. And that is exactly where we want to go and where we are going as a whole ecosystem. So, and this is very exciting question and aspect or topic to speak about, because OpenCog itself is the artificial general intelligence engine, which conceptually is based on the concept of the cognitive synergy. And cognitive synergy states that the intelligence comes from the different aspects. The general intelligence comes from integration or interaction of different aspects which are less intelligent, or narrow intelligence, let's say. So what Nunet can bring to that is that it can distribute the intelligence geographically of those, let's say, narrow intelligences, and enable for the OpenCock or Hyperon engine to combine them into the artificial general intelligence. Now, whether it's artificial, whether artificial general intelligence comes from a single machine or whether it comes from the collection of many machines, it's a theoretical question that if you are interested in this sort of topics, and I hope that you are, so next week, pretty much at this time, next week, next Friday, we are holding a live videocast of the three founders of the Nunet, which is Ben Goertzel, David Weinbaum, and me, will hold a live videocast talking about the history of Nunet, the conceptual background of Nunet, the relations between Nunet and SingularityNET concept, relation between artificial general intelligence, and what Nunet is doing, the theory and philosophy behind it, and the vision of what we want, both in terms of what we're doing with Nunet and what we're doing in the large ecosystem, starting with our academic research and not exactly manifestation, but how we are trying to bridge the theory and the academic research and the applied research into the technological solutions that could, step by step, but quite fast, reach the vision that we are building. So this is an announcement of the next videocast of Nunet. So please join, and this will bring the conceptual background of what we're doing. So with that, there is a fun question: are we living in the computer simulation? I believe a person who asked this, whose name is C, may be interested in this videocast that I just announced. I will not answer the question. Let's leave it for the philosophy conference. I would ask a question back to that. What the difference does it make for the person who asked this question? Why do you think there is a difference? And how do you detect the difference? So that is back to the kind of, I know where this question comes from. So with that, I would like to finish the questions, and I would like to invite everybody, one of the things, to try out the platform and to help us and to help the community and to help yourself. Us doesn't mean the co-developers or the Nunet co-developers. Us means the community, which is all of us. To help us to bring this platform to our vision so that we can, our vision again, it's not our vision, it's all of us, to make it a reality and to enable us to sort of build the computational universe which is inclusive rather than which is being sort of accumulated now in the hands of few centralized entities, let's say this way. And while this sounds like a very conceptual kind of direction, as we probably, well, obviously it also has a technical aspect. And what Nunet is doing is exactly that. It's bringing or realizing the technical aspect of this vision. So one thing is to what is already happening for 2 days is to look at to hack the platform. There is another thing which is related to one of the questions. One of the questions is that we provided also the showcase application, and I would invite for anybody who is interested to build applications and who is interested and would like to do that, to build applications or to provide new AI services that can make the fake news warning application better, and we will immediately include that into the program graph of the fake news warning application, and it will run on the Nunet background. Also, to develop maybe other applications or other user interfaces together with AI services that could run in a distributed manner, the way we demonstrated with the fake news warning application. And that is actually our goal of building those applications, to showcase applications, to show how you can start contributing to them. And we will, as probably I already mentioned somewhere, our goal is actually to give those applications to write to the community so that we can concentrate on the functionalities of the platform, which is application agnostic, which will enable us to run those applications that you write and with whoever is onboarding to run more efficiently. So thank you for being, and thank you for jumping early. Please continue doing that, and looking forward to develop it together. So thanks a lot. I think that would be the end of today's MAA. And right, so stay tuned. Please follow our Medium and Telegram channel. Good night. Well, at least for me, good night. Maybe for others, good morning. So bye. Thank you very much.